Hey, buddy.
What's
It's been a
good,
while.
bro? I know,
I have
bro.
a
It's been like what?
I'll be right back, but I have my headphones on, so you can keep talking. It's been like 2 years at least.
Yeah, because we used to do it a lot when I was at IUP. That was like 2017. So that's like,
But
yeah, it's
yeah,
been at
I
least 2 or 3
remember
years.
we, I'm pretty sure we talked, the last time like we were on was either right before or right after KOD dropped.
Right.
And then I think it was actually right after because I was back home. And KOD dropped like during exams, but it was then. And then I remember me and Gio had talked once before, but you were busy. So once in between, I think sometime at the end of 2018. And then after that, it was just like we just kind of like not talked as much on Skype.
Yeah, on Skype. I was about to say, we still text like pretty much every day, though.
All the time, yeah.
Yeah.
But like on Skype, it's been kind of like, we haven't done the video call thing.
Nah,
But yeah,
it's been a minute, bro.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. I
But
just
I'm glad to
immediately
be back.
started recording just so we can capture everything.
Oh yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
So whenever you're ready, I can just start
Oh yeah, we can start now.
Alright, for sure.
I just have to get my water.
Yeah, no, take your time. So yeah, I'm just gonna start off with like the basics and everything. So like, where you from?
I am from a suburb in the Greater Toronto Area called Markham, Ontario. I was born in Toronto. I've lived here in Markham for about 7 years at first when I was younger. I moved to San Diego for 4 years, and then we moved back here, and I've been living here ever since.
Do you think like that change in environment influences like your art in any way, or do you think just being from the Great White North in general has any type of influence on you?
I don't know if any of my influence specifically is due to location. I've had, I guess, definitely has affected my life. Like, I made a lot of friends over there, and I've moved schools around. I moved around schools a lot. I think I've been to like 6 or 7. So just because of that, like I've had to like restart a lot, and like have like new friend groups and stuff. It's been pretty stable for the past like even just through university and stuff. It's been stable since high school, but like the years before that, it would be like one school, then to another, and then we moved. And then I moved back, so that whole thing kind of just shuffled everything around. But I don't think any of my influences have really been because of where I live, but just having to restart a lot, it gave me a lot of time to myself. And so what that did was it let me explore music, movies, TV, anything media related, and that's probably what affected like my art and anything that I do, just even outside art, but anything that I do, that would probably be what it was. Not really just the location, but having to restart so many times kind of made me want to explore other things outside of going out with friends and stuff like that. I kind of just stayed at home a lot and did a lot of that stuff.
Right. So you were saying that media influences you a lot. Would you say music is the main like medium that is the biggest influence on you, or would you say it's film? What would you choose?
Music was a big one, because now my influences are really just like anything that I see. So it's more than just media. So I could go outside and like see how a tree looks and kind of like see something in it and be like, I could probably make something out of that. But music was the first one, because the first thing that I got super into was music. Like art wise, the first thing that I got super into was music. And this is about like, and I'd always like listen to music like everyone does before, but like around 2014, I started like diving in super deep to like anything I could find. And so what that did was, that it kind of became like the first first time that I was into like this art thing and looking at it and thinking, damn, like people can just make like have something they want to say and make something amazing out of it. So I think it's been a long journey trying to figure out how to do that and where to do that, because I was never sure if I wanted to make music, if I wanted to, make physical art. I was never really that good a drawer, and I've started to get better, obviously, because like practice and stuff. But when I was younger in art classes and stuff, like I wouldn't really do well, and I never really. I always just thought of myself, because science is so instilled in my family. Like my dad's an engineer, and my mom is she went to school for architecture. She's not an architect, but like she went to school for it. So like science has just been such a thing that's ingrained in my family since I was born. It was like science this, science. So I've followed in their footsteps. I'm in my 4th year of biology, but I had never really, like, when it comes to art class and stuff, like I just figured that I was never told it was as important, so I didn't pay much attention to it. And what that did was it kind of closed it off for me for a couple of years. Until I got super into music. And then I got super into, you see your favorite artist, and you see, oh, what are they like? And you look into that and like, oh, like, they really like these physical art, these like painters, and they really like these sculptors, and they really like these authors and stuff. So there's like, and then the more and more you explore how things expand from there, the more and more you see how something as simple as like a pop song could be influenced by like 18th century literature, and it just you would never see it from the outside. But because you read into it, you go, oh, like that's really cool. Like just one song could means something to the artist that's completely different to what it means to someone that's just listening to it on the radio. So yeah, I got super into that, and then shoes came after.
Okay.
That's how like my fashion thing started. Was I got super into sneakers. I became a sneakerhead for a little bit, and then from that point on, it was just what do I wear from here? Like what do am I just gonna wear like a bunch of different shoes, but like black pants and a white tee every time? So it kind of evolved from that, and then we just kept going.
Right. Do you remember that first like song or album that like made you like realize, or that first you heard a song and then you did some research on and you were like, oh, that's so cool, I wonder if other songs are like this?
Yeah, so it was different for multiple genres. For rock, when I was really young, it was the Beatles. My dad had like a box set, and like my uncle on my mom's side and his uncle were like the biggest Beatles fans. So that's just always something that I've grown up around. They showed me Yellow Submarine as a kid. Fucking terrifying movie. But that was that. I was probably, and when I was 9, I got Beatles Rock Band. And like, that was just like, fuck yeah, what an awesome game. But I got, so when I was really young, when I was like 9 or 10, it was the Beatles. And then when I was getting into 8th grade, 9th grade, like starting high school and stuff, this is super like typical, but Kendrick Lamar, Nicki Mad City was coming out around then, and then Childish Gambino had come out near then. I already loved 808s from when I was younger, because like you would just hear those songs on the radio. So Kanye was big, and the Yeezus dropped, and that was like I obviously, like at first you're a kid and you hear it. And the first thing you hear is On Sight was like, you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is not what I wanted. Like, but yeah, I would say those were like the main ones. Those are like artists that have like just stuck with me for a long time, but they were like what got me into like looking at it and then diving into like deeper into the genre, who they collaborate with, and like all their songs and albums, and then just keep going from there.
Right. So you saying that you're practicing a lot. Are you drawing and creating every day, or is it kind of like you need a little spark of inspiration before you start working?
I need a spark, but it would help if I drew every day, because then I'd get better. And when I do need that spark, then I'll have like the ability to put what's in my head on a page. But for the most part, I'll need a spark. I can't really just sit and like just sit in a room and be like, oh, I'm gonna draw like like this bookcase. I'm gonna try to work, which I should, but but for like I haven't really done that because I kind of do need I have very short attention span, so I need something that'll be worthwhile or something that'll like be proud to have on the page. So like, here, I'll show you real quick because I have my notebook next to me. This is my this was like for the next season that I have planned. I have like a bunch of drawings here for it.
Oh, sick!
They're like quick little sketches.
Yeah, fire.
And I had an idea for the next hoodie. And I really took me, like, I had to just sit down and draw it. So this is what it would look like.
Gas. That's sick.
Yeah. And so, like, just to get the perspective right on it, like it took me a couple tries. And I realized, like, oh, maybe I should be just, sitting around doodling and trying to get, like, perspective and like, angles right. Because that really is important. That's what kind of shapes how you see everything. And I want to make sure that what is in my head is properly put onto the page, so that it could then properly be moved onto like a t-shirt or a hoodie or something like that.
Right. Because even like when we were talking in like that, what is it, like the Yeezy Taught Me group chat back in like 2016, I feel like you were still drawing and all of that. So when did you start being like, oh, these drawings would look cool on a hoodie? Or when did you know what I mean?
I wasn't doing it as much. What started was I had been inspired. I don't know if inspired is the right word. I kind of just got this drive, because again, in 2017, I was really into sneakers. And like the biggest thing to happen was the Off-White collection. And, now obviously there's like, I'm not, because you move past that. That's something that you like when you're younger. You move past that. So I'm not like a huge Off-White guy, but like I just, and I wasn't even as big a fan then, but what I really did like, because I like hearing people talk about what they love doing. So I was listening to Virgil talk at the Harvard School of Design and Harvard Graduate School of Design, and it was like he was just explaining how the collaboration happened, and I was just sitting there thinking like, damn, like this, like just like from the start of like the that little group of people that Kanye had, like just to see how all of them branched off was crazy. But watching it, I was just like, it's pretty cool. Like just learning all the steps that he was taking, and also his whole mentality of you could do it too. And that's where my first, because if you remember that summer of 2018, when I first started getting into it, I was kind of trying out what he had done with Pirate's Vision, which was he would get, at first he would get like flannels and tees and stuff from thrift stores, and then print Pyrex 23 on the back and then sell them for like hundreds of dollars. And that eventually became what Off-White became. But that was like, and he could do that because he had the people, the influencers around him to kind of market it and make it cool. Right. But I was like, fuck it. If I want to try it, I could try it. So I was spray painting, you remember I had the cardboard, out of cardboard. I made like a little mold, cut out. I would put it on the back of a t-shirt and I would just spray paint it, and like the logo would come out on the back. And I was like, shit, it was working for me at the time. But, and at the time it was really funny because that was all I knew. Like I didn't know like about production and manufacturing and any of that. So I didn't want to overcomplicate it. So I was like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray paint, and then people are going to want to buy that. And like looking back, it's really funny. It's like, I don't think I would even buy that, but it was important. It was a necessary step. It's one that you had to take to just like move on to the next thing. And that was it for me. So because like, just, because of like that whole, the talk at the graduate school, Harvard Graduate School of Design, because of that, I kind of got the kick to be like, I could do this. Like I could try it. And, shit, I didn't even back then, I didn't think I'd get to a point where I'd be able to like drop a full collection, but here we are.
Yeah, that's fire. So, what can you talk about the process of finding that manufacturer and the production company and everything like that?
Yeah. So for the t-shirts, the designs for it came up about August of 2018 or 2019. Sorry. I had originally started this idea or started getting into this, trying to research for it in November 2017. So this is a long time in the making, and we'll get to that. But last year, so we were here in my basement. It was my cousins, who aren't really my cousins, but like they're close family friends. They live in Montreal, so they came for a week. And like I'd already been showing them drawings and stuff and where I wanted to go with the brand and all that. And I had just recently found like this motif, this theme that I wanted to go with for the entire brand. So I was just explaining it to them. So we were here in the basement, and what we would do is we'd go out during the week, like during the day, I'd like drive them downtown. We'd walk around, we'd just like see shit. And then when we come back on the TV here, we'd have like New York Times volume 1 to whatever. Like there's like 30 volumes. There's like just like the skate videos of like kids skating in New York and all that shit. We would play like the classics, like all the FA videos and Supreme Blast and Baker 3 and all that shit. And we would we just playing it on the background, and we had no sound on it because on my record player we were just playing music. And through it, basically what happened was I had done original sketches and I showed it to my cousin. He's Mark. He actually is pretty important to the brand. He's been helping me through all this. But I showed them and they were like, okay, how are we going to get this made? Blah, blah, blah. So I asked Caleb, from Always Happy, where he got his t-shirts printed, and he gave me his site. So I ordered through there. So that was that for the t-shirts. I ordered, I had just photoshopped and designed and popped it on a t-shirt and printed it. So it was really much less complicated than it needed to be. I didn't need to put tees down and spray paint and everything like that. It took like 30 minutes just to get a one done. And if you fucked up, like that was it. Right. So it made it so much easier. So yeah, I got them printed. For hoodies, I found somewhere local, nice embroidery spot. That was which I'm glad everyone likes the hoodie. That's like the one for this one. And then the knits, I found this site that does custom knits. And I was like, all right, let me just order a couple in my size or in like different sizes, and that'll be the stock for it because knits are a little more expensive to make. Right. It's like one of those where it's like you got to just do what you have to do for it. But yeah, so and the drawings for it, usually I would come through with I'd have an idea, have it out on paper, then I'd take a picture of it, draw it out on Adobe Draw, and then transfer the picture over, draw it out, like trace it out, and then move that to Photoshop and like do whatever I want with it. So that's kind of how that one works.
Okay. That's awesome. That's really interesting. Do you want to talk about that motif that you were explaining to your cousins, like the idea behind the Leaders of Deity name and brand?
Yeah, so to go for that, we've got to go back to when I first wanted to make it. So I was following this YouTuber known as The Casual, Reggie Casual. He's really actually a really great fashion YouTuber when it comes to information and just like, keeping up with stuff. He's incredible. He's based out in Japan, and so I've been following him for a while because I kind of got into him through sneakers, and really that was one of the opening gateways of like how I got into fashion, was following him and subscribing to him. So I started watching his videos, and he had this thing was how to start a brand, and this was happening at the same time that around the same time I had heard Virgil say you could do it too, and so I was like, all right, shit, let me look. Yeah. So I just watched the first one. I didn't watch the other ones because it would kind of give me stress because I was like, all right, I'll get to it. I have to watch the other ones. Give me a second. But I watched the first one, and the first one was literally just about research. So I was like, I could do that. So one of the important things was going through, and because I just knew I wanted to start a brand, but I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. So one of the important things was to go through and research, and it's like, okay, so these are the people, and these are the ideas, and these are the, I guess, even just, you can write anything you want, he says. So I was like, all right, I'll do that. So I was going through, and one of the things I wrote down was birds or whatever. I was like, I kind of like the idea of like, birds, they represent a lot of things. So I was like, you know what, I could find something through it. And as I was researching for it, I was going through the Wikipedia page, and you can find it on the Wikipedia page. If you scroll down to near the bottom, their roles in religion, you can see a line that says that birds are seen as messengers or priests and leaders for a deity. And I was like, that's a really cool name.
Yeah.
And I was playing around with another name as well, because I had also written down color. And so the brand for that was going to be like another name that I had thought was human visual perception. That's another one that was that kind of caught my eye. But leaders for a deity at first. I kind of stuck with that. And then fast forward to 2018, around April, I was like, let me just draw something. So I drew the original logo, and I was like, this looks really cool. And then I hadn't done much since then. And then through the whole thing, through that summer and up until the next summer, I was just really just drawing basic, like, simple designs, stuff that would just be like, cute, quirky shit with the name on it, slap it on a tee. That's all I thought it was going to be. But it wasn't until, I would say, around July 2019 that I had locked in. I was in my dorm, because I was taking summer school at the time. I was in courses in the summer. I was in my dorm, called Sabrina, and it was my girlfriend. And I said, I feel like stuck. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But then as I was just talking, like I was just ranting really. And at one point I'm like, well, I guess I could do like something about like religion and blah, 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 and go through that. And then I just, like, it hit me. And then that was like it. And that night I was like, I just sat down and I drew the first design, which was the one that eventually became the hoodie, which was this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So originally it was going to have it was going to be a window. It was going to have like a window. It was going to be like, in a castle. So there'd be like a brick wall, and he's in the room, and the bird is being seen through the window. So then I showed it to my cousins, and he's like, take the walls out, take the windows out, just see the thing in the bird. And that's probably the best thing that he ever said was that. But yeah, so now that the backstory is gone through, let me talk about the motif. So the motif is it's a commentary on religion, really the monotheistic religions. So, but I don't feel comfortable just personally commentating on any religion that I'm not personally close to.
Right.
So Islam and Judaism I probably will never touch, because that's it's just something that I don't have experience with. But with Christianity especially, I've always had a very weird relationship with Christianity, because it is it's something that's been in my life. Like, I'm Armenian, so just going to Armenian school, like Saturday school and stuff, they would always instill in us, and they were all so proud that Armenia was the first nation to accept Christianity as its official nation, as its official religion. I mean, and so I always had that, and then I went to Catholic school at first, even though I'm not Catholic, but I had gone to I was put in Catholic school, and then I had moved to a public school, moved to another public school, then moved to Catholic school, and public school and Catholic school, and then I graduated high school. So like that was my whole thing. So it's always been in and out, I think, and that's honestly, if anything, location wise, was influencing what I'm doing right now. It was just moving in and out of Catholic school.
Okay.
Because we would go from learning it and praying every morning, and it's the most important thing ever, to a public school where nobody talked about it. And so that's why I had like a really weird relationship with it. In the prime of my edgy, angsty teen years, I was in Catholic school. I was taking religion class, and it was my least favorite religion class I've ever taken, because by the time I got to my junior year of high school, religion became more. That religion was learning about all the other religions, and that was super interesting to me. And in senior year, it was like a philosophy type thing, and that was really interesting. But for some reason, sophomore year of high school, that was so boring to me. And it was just, I didn't like my teacher at all. And I don't know, I was just being a shitty kid too. Just like me and my other friend were kind of just like, we'd always talk about stuff like that religion really went against. Mm-hmm. So in class, especially, despite her, I feel, or like looking back, it might have been despite her, but we were just there doing it. But times like that kind of shaped my view on it. And so the whole thing with the bird is the idea that humans, or in the Bible, or something that Christians say a lot, is that God made man in his image. But the more realistic way to look at it for me is that humans say that because we have an ego. We say that this all-knowing, all-important God that we follow looks just like us. Mm-hmm. Like that's just like a personal ego thing that we just ran with. So I kind of wanted to play around with that. So that's why the logo and the main thing is the bird on the crucifix. It's the idea that it's a human there in popular religion, because humans have an ego, but it could be anything. Yeah. So it's arbitrary. The whole thing is completely, or, and I'm not saying it's made up, but I think it's whoever you follow, whatever you decide to put your faith in, it could be replaced by, or it's interchangeable and it means something different to every other person. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of that was really the idea that I started with as like the idea for the brand. And what that turned into was which is why what that turned into was a lot of the designs. I started being able to just like draw and find inspiration everywhere, because once I focused in on what I wanted my brand to say, mm-hmm. I began to see it in everything. And I would say I'm really lucky that I chose religion as the subject, because it is in everything. Mm-hmm. In music, you can hear it. You can see it in movies. You can hear it in you can see it in visual art. You can see it in philosophy, which is one of the main things that they talk about, or one of the main like points of contention in philosophy is there a God or is there not? Mm-hmm. Like the all being questioned. So that was once I found that, I was able to just kind of like dial in and be like, okay, I can literally consume media forever and just pick out the parts that I want. And what that does is it creates this thing that is both me and the brand, this idea, because everyone, no matter who you are, no one is completely original. Everyone is a product of their influences. Mm-hmm. And me being able to know what I want to pick out from all of my favorite artists and all my favorite people and all my favorite, what I could pick out from it becomes something that is uniquely me, uniquely the brand. And it's something that I'm very happy that I found, because now it's just like a creative outlet for me. I can do whatever I want with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jesus, that's a lot to unpackage. But it's all really, yeah. I want to go back to what you were talking about ego, because the fashion industry, I mean, I'm not directly in it, but it seems like a very ego-driven, type of art form.
Yeah, very much so. It's all, and there are designers who design from I guess a point of view that isn't as egotistical, but yeah, the fashion industry, especially like mainstream one, is very egotistical. Everything's about appearances. So that's even just, and my brand is a skate brand right now, and it probably will stay like that for a very long time, if not forever. But it's you can even just like networking and stuff, you can see how people in not the industry but that are kind of in the scene would like to keep appearances. Mm-hmm. It's like the most important thing, and I completely understand it, because appearances are basically what drives the demand for you personally and for your brand. And so, you know, it's very much a thing like that. I never toyed with the idea that the egotistical kind of sense that I comment on, like that whole thing. I never toyed with the idea that it could be like a commentary on the fashion industry. I don't think that's really right now my place to make a comment.
Right.
But I can see how those things are connected.
Right. So, because you were saying also that you were, once you had the idea of the deity and religion being a part of it, that you just immediately started drawing and drawing. So how many pieces did you draw, and what was the process like picking these 4 that eventually became the first collection?
So I've drawn a lot. I don't know if I could put a number on it, but the reason I picked these 4 were the first 4 or the first 3, if I should say. The original collection was supposed to be the 2 t-shirts, the knit, or not the knit, the 2 t-shirts, the hoodie, and like a hat, or like a dad's hat or something.
Right.
But I never got around to making the hat. What I did was I got super inspired by I don't know if inspired, but I got super, I guess, inspired. I saw the Dior Dan White, I don't know how to pronounce his name, which is kind of bad, but right. I saw their collaboration, and it's the one that's super like it's focused around mosh pits. So there's like a jean jacket that's like the whole thing is like a all over print of like people in a mosh pit. There's a button-up shirt where it's a mosh pit near the bottom. But I saw the knit for it, and it was black, and the knit was black and white, and there were people just like on having a mosh pit. It was just a mosh pit on the knit, and it was all the way around like the bottom. And people call it the Die-Lit sweater, which if you look at it, it really does look like the Die-Lit album cover. Right. But I saw that, and I just got super like locked into that kind of like grayscale monotone look of a knit. So I had drawn out a knit, and the original design was the 2 Crusaders, because I can take from anything in religion, and I had replaced. It's not as obvious because it's just an outline on the knit that I sold. Mm-hmm. But on their chest, it's the logo for both of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the original design had like the horse's head on one of them, like on one arm, like around here on the forearm, and the other one had the arm pointing, and it's on like the upper arm here. And you can see that one's still there, like the arm is still pointing off on the other arm, which I was super proud that I got that made properly.
Right.
But the original was like a like more like a photorealistic, but in a black and white on a knit, and then it was originally supposed to be black with the gray. But this is what I managed to make for now, and that is probably a knit that I will make later on down the line when I can. But so I'm gonna keep that in my back pocket. But I had so the knit, that's how the knit came through. Mm-hmm. But the other 3 were really just they were the first ones that I had made, or at least I was for sure going to make the hoodie with the prayer hoodie, with the priest kneeling with the bird and stuff. I was going to make that one first, for sure. Mm-hmm. But those were the first ones that I came up with. I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to make. And I kind of just stuck with it, tried to fine tune it. There's still some stuff on it that I would change now. It's just that I got them produced like months ago. So it was a little late. For the next time around though, like that's what I'm gonna make sure that everything, or at least up to that point, everything is like made properly, or so that I don't look back and be like, I could have done this, I could have done this. Like, it was a learning experience for a first drop, but yeah, that's how the designs were chosen.
Right. And for a first drop, a lot of the stuff sold out pretty much, right? I think you were saying
Yeah,
there's still some t-shirts left, but
there's tees left. So the tees I'm still trying to sell. So if you're listening to this, go buy a tee. It's sold out in a couple sizes. But there's definitely still smalls and mediums. I think one of the tees is sold out in large and one of those tees is sold out in XL. But and the hoodies and the knits went right away. The hoodies I knew they were gonna go, because I've been strategically using my friends as like a way to prop that up. So I had sent some out to some of the people some of my best artist friends, even just best friends in general that like I talk to every day. So like Amir was the first person to get it. Amir was the first person to see it. We can have a whole segment about how Amir is the reason that this shit is still going on.
I was about to say, I definitely have like questions about his role and all of that, so we'll definitely get to it.
So yeah, but I sent some to him. I sent one to Lefty. You know, through Amir, I had got pretty close with Hesh and Tony, and Argov. So I sent some to them, and like I had really sent out quite a few of them, but it ended up working in the long run because what it did was it let them. They posted it everywhere. They fucking loved it. Everyone loved the hoodie, and I'm really proud that I made something that everyone loved. And that's something that a lot of people wanted. And to the point where so many people wanted it that I didn't have enough. I thought that was really cool. I never thought that would happen, but here we are. But yeah, so I had, I'm very impressed that a lot of this shit kind of sold out. I'm very getting like a newfound confidence for this thing that we're working on that's gonna be out in a couple months.
Okay.
That I don't know if I should talk about, but yeah.
Right. That's hype. That's really, it's exciting. You deserve all the praise and all the selling out and stuff like that because you did a crazy job on it. But before we get into, Amir and all those guys, I wanted to thank you for putting me onto their music and shit like that because I think you were the first person to tell me about, No Clue and all that stuff that's going on. It's presented a lot of really cool opportunities. I met a lot of really sick people through just you. Yeah. You know what I mean? And just being friends with you. So I think that's sick.
Yeah, no. So that's why I was at the time I didn't even think it was going to be like an interview thing because I knew you had your little thing going, and I knew that like you were because you went to school for music marketing.
Music business, the
business,
big quote on the
like
music, the business part, but.
And so I was like. I didn't even think about that. At first, I was just a friend trying to put my friends onto my friend, that type of thing. I was like, oh, guys, like, he made this album. Like, you should check it out. It was really cool. And that was Brain on Fire. I still remember when that dropped. But, yeah, I met Amir a lot, like, before. Like, we were friends before music and before art and before any of that stuff. Like, we were just, like, we were in a group chat. We were added together, like, through music Twitter. And, we just like gravitated towards each other because we were the only two people in there that liked death grips. And so because of that, we were just that's like how we started. When we started talking on Discord, we talk with Nathan and Owen as well, so shout out to them. We were the usual suspects. That was us. And what we did was we'd always try to fuck with Owen, so we played Spread Eagle Across the Block, like super loud, like constantly until he left because it was really funny. But yeah, that was why. So that's how that started, that whole friendship, and then like it really just moved on from there.
Right, to the point where you're doing artwork for him. You made the Roses artwork, right? The single?
I did, yeah. So originally, that Roses artwork, this was back in February that I had originally made it, but it wasn't for Roses. It was for a song that he did with Tony Tone, produced by Keystone, called Everything. So I had couple people know what movie that's from. I'm not going to give it away, but it's a screen grab from a movie, which came out. The only hint I'll give is it came out in 1971, and it's a pretty popular movie though. It's not hard to find. And I had just removed like the writing for it, and I replaced it with like roses. Or at first it was everything, and it was Tony Tone and Amir Bilal, produced by Keysun. And Amir loved it. Amir fucking loved it. He was like, "Oh, that's a sick cover." And then and then he sent it over to Tony, and Tony wasn't feeling it. Like he just wasn't feeling it for the song. So I was like, "All right." And Amir goes, I'm gonna use that one day though. So when Roses came around, he goes, "Hey, do you think you can change the thing to Roses?" That was like a big back and forth because like we were trying to get like a bunch of stuff right. Because even back then, like I was still kind of new to Photoshop, or I wasn't super practiced with it. So that was how I had kind of gotten into that one. But yeah. So Tony wasn't fucking. Well, he loved it, but he just wasn't feeling it for the song. So Amir's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna use that for one. Don't worry. Like, just keep that one in the back pocket."
Right. How do you, or would you say there is a difference to the way you approach creating like an artwork compared to like drawing, the designs for your brand and everything like that?
Like compared to like Amir rapping and stuff.
Well, I'm saying like when you go in to like create an artwork, or like because I don't know if you do it often. Yeah, compared to like just drawing for your.
Compared to like okay. It really is different. I kind of remove that lens of filtering everything through religion and through that thing that would fit with my brand. And I just think of like what would look cool. Mm-hmm. That's a simple, like a lot of design stuff, and especially album cover stuff, like it has to be eye grabbing, but it comes down to like what would look cool. Like, and I'm a huge like album cover like nerd. Like I love. Like I don't know if you remember, but back when like even before Topsters were like super all over Twitter, like I had made one that was just album covers. Mm-hmm. That was just like all my favorite covers, and like on there was like Kitsy Ghost. I fucking love that cover. Bitches Brew, which is my favorite cover of all time. Okay. 3001: A Space Odyssey, that's a great cover too. Like all that stuff. Cosmic Grandma, stuff like that. But I so really, and me and Amir always talk about this, is like the best way to be good at something, or the best way to do something, is to be a fan of it first. Because like you just consume as much as you can, and you can filter out what looks good, what doesn't look good, mm-hmm. And you can make something that's you will like, but like which would also mean that people that are into it would probably also like, because what like the boundaries and like the rules and stuff for it are. So yeah, when it comes to making covers for people, I don't do it a lot. Mm-hmm. I could if people ask, but like I don't really do it a lot. But Amir, of course, I'm gonna make a cover for him. Right. It just comes down to what do I think looks cool? What fits the song? What looks cool? What would someone like shuffling a playlist go and see that cover and be like, oh wait, I'll stop here type of thing. Like I think the crispness of the image kind of helps. That's a very like super good quality thing for an illegal rip of a movie that came out in 1971. Yeah. So.
I feel that. So let's go back to skateboarding and how it's influenced you. Yeah. Because you were saying that you were like watching these classic skate videos while you were first, just like you having ideas of just having a brand and stuff like that. Do you skateboard yourself? I'm on and off. So when I was around 10 and 11, back when I used to live in San Diego for the last couple of years there, I had a friend, my two friends were, that lived in like the same, kind of apartment complex thing, were Ashcon and Sunny. So shout out to them if they see this or hear this or whatever. Mm-hmm. And we would just go around like skateboarding and stuff. And like this is back when like I didn't even know how to do any tricks. So we just like ride around like our complex and stuff. And then I remember Sunny taught me how to ollie, and that was fucking awesome. But when I moved back here, I didn't really have any friends that liked skateboarding or like anyone that I could skateboard with. So I kind of just like fell off of it a little bit. And then I tried to pick it back up, like around 2014, 15. And I did it for like a couple months, and then I fell off of it again. And then like 2 years ago, or even last summer,
like I was like, I'm gonna get back into it. And then, it's tough here because winter starts and then you can't really skateboard. So,
Yeah.
It's always something that I've loved. I just never really super got into it.
Yeah.
But, it was, so through that though, I was able to like kind of develop like the brands I liked and the people that I liked and even just the stuff I was interested in. So like I have all the classic skate games, like, and I still play them like on my 360, even though like they're broken, but when I can get the discs to work, I still run through them.
Right.
Like Jason Doe's like my favorite skater, and through him, like I saw like all the Supreme skaters and like FA and all the stuff he does, and through that I was like, okay, so this is something I'm super interested in. And then I saw Blessed, which was the Supreme video, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. I want to make something like this. So that's kind of what sparked the idea for making the video that I ended up shooting.
Right.
That was like that was what I saw, and I was like, I need to do this. Like, I 100% need to do this.
Right. Yeah, because people think that, like, it's like riding a bike, where, like, once you land a trick, you just, like, oh, you can just do it like that, even if you take a break for a couple months. But no, it's super coordinated.
It really is. It really is a muscle memory thing. Like, you have to do it over and over again. Like, even when I pick it back up, like, just even trying to ollie again, like, it takes me a couple tries. It's like, that stuff is, and I never like, my whole goal was like, oh, I'm gonna learn the kickflip, and I always like fall just short of it, but like I know how to shove it, pop shove it, and like 180 and stuff. So like that's about it. That's like the extent of what I've gone. As I get older, my body gets weaker.
Yeah,
I'm only 20, but still, it gets harder and harder each time, basically.
No, I'm the same way, because I just, like, down in, like, Nashville, where I'm at right now, I would think the skate scene's going to be, like, mad mediocre. Like, it doesn't seem like a big skate city. But you go to the skate parks down here, these kids are kicking my head. There's, like, 14-year-olds and, like, a big-ass pool on a ripstick. Like, just a two-wheel John, just killing it. Like, doing tricks under it. It's insane. It's so insane.
Yeah.
So going back to the skate video, because it's part of the rollout, how was the planning for the rollout for the clothes with the skate video and stuff? How was that process like for like when you were going to release what in what order, if that makes sense?
Okay. Yeah. So my cousin Mark, who's again super important to the brand, he lives in Montreal, and so he's known through some people through there, like just through like reselling streetwear or like the fashion scene there or like this or that. He's known some people. So last year, like 2019, August, we're like, even when we were just watching those, like, we're going to make one day. We just didn't know when. This summer, I texted him, I'm like, we should make one this summer. It'll be part of the rollout. It'll be great. So by the time I would say late July comes around, we have a team because he knows the videographer through someone who then introduced us to two of the skaters, or one of the skaters at first, Lazary. And so Neon's the videographer. So Neon introduced us to Lazary at first. I'm pretty sure, because this is Game of Broken Telephone. Like I know this from him, but it could not be how it went. But Neon went through, we got Lazary through him. And then him, just knowing like people in the fashion scene in Montreal, knew Finn and Beamski. So those two, they're kind of like a little bit known in Montreal in that scene. So he knew them just personally, like they're friends. So, and Finn can skate. So he's like, okay, we can get Finn in the video. We have videographer in Neon, and then Lazary. And then and then Neon sent us a video as like a sample clip of what his filming looks like. And I was like, and in that video was Tristan skating, and like he was going and like landed an impossible, and like kind of just went through his thing. And I was like, I need him in the video.
Yeah.
And so we found a way to make that happen. So I for like a 2-week period, I was just in Montreal. We really only had 3 days of filming, but for 2 weeks, I was just there in Montreal. Me and my cousin were kind of just working. We were just trying to like plan everything out, coordinate everything. But we only had 3 separate days. We didn't even have them all together. The first day we only had Tristan and Neon, and like that first day was like really awkward because like we've never met.
Yeah.
But like as it went on, like we all got like closer, and like shout out them, like they really saved my ass on this one, because they if it wasn't for them, I don't think any of this would really be happening as well as it is, because the video turned out really well. It really worked. So, yeah, and then second day was Neon, Tristan, and Lazary. And then the third day, but Tristan's foot was hurting. He got like a thing, because like we were having long ass days, like 6-7 hours of just like trying tricks and doing this and doing that. So, and then the third day Neon couldn't make it because he had another project that he had to work on. So I had to, we took the camera from him, and we just filmed Finn and Lazary together. So we got a couple back-to-back clips. It was really amazing that I got 9 minutes worth of footage that I could use, because I had promised a bunch of people a spot on the soundtrack.
Yeah. And
but like I didn't have the time for it, because like if it's like 10-11 songs on there.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it worked out. I got enough footage, and the first thing I did before I even filmed anything, I had done a little mix of the soundtrack and how I was going to go from one song to another. And that's why all the songs are like really short snippets, because I was watching a video that was like a breakdown of like a fashion history type thing. It was for Margiela. And it was I saw that on his second show ever, what he did was he had the soundtrack for the show be like really like alt rock and like grunge and stuff like that. From even this is earlier than grunge, so it was like late 80s, but like music kind of like that, like rock music, even like Velvet Underground, stuff like that. But on the soundtrack, the songs would just go from one song to another, like as if you were just like laying down on your bed with headphones on, listening to a playlist and like shuffling through.
Right.
So like I thought, I could do that. Like that's how I'm just going to include everybody in the soundtrack. I'll have like snippet by snippet by snippet. So just trying to find that mix between like perfect transitions, like from one song to another, and like the hard cuts that would happen in that Margiela show was like, I had to just find a balance, but I think I did it. I think I did well on that, and the transitions were working great. And like from that point on, it was just a matter of like asking everybody if they could be part of the soundtrack, and thankfully everyone was like, yeah, like I'm down. I'm super down for it. So yeah.
That's awesome. And the video did turn out super dope. So when you were like talking to the artist,
thank you.
Oh yeah, for sure. When you were talking to the artist, were you like, did you have songs in mind already, or were you just like, these artists would sound sick skating to their music, like I want to use them?
Yeah, so I had songs in mind. What happened was I'm already friends with all of them. I had already been friends with all of them except for Prose, and now we're friends. But that was a late addition. So what happened was I had created a little playlist of like the songs that I wanted involved. And like there was some in and out and stuff, but I eventually asked everybody, and I had and everyone said yes. So Amir, Metro, No Face, Ant was part of the No Face song. I'm glad that he was in there though. Cloudwalker, Keysun, but yeah, so those are the originals. Tony as well. Those are like the original editions. And then Randy and Prose dropped their collab tape, Youth Gonna Shoot. And I heard Cocaine from JP, and I was like, I need to use this song. And that's actually my favorite transition to a song, because it's the third song on there, and it was the one where Lazary goes up for the shaky kick, and as it flips, like the transition happens. So I was like super proud of that one. But yeah, through everyone, I was just able to ask everyone. I was like, "Can I use your song for a soundtrack?" And they're like, "Yep, perfect."
Yeah,
and it worked out really well, because that was a major issue at first. I had a whole video planned out with different songs that were like actual songs that artists had made. So there was one song, I'm trying to remember one of the songs was a Young Nudie song that I wanted. The other one was The Comet Is Coming. one for sure that I was going to use, and that was like the only song that transferred to the next one, was Beyond This, which was the Amir song. When he dropped that song, and when I knew I wanted to make a video, I'm like, I need this song anyways. I like for sure I need to use this song. So that was like that song, but and that one stayed. I still was able to use it. But like the other songs, like and the last song was Love Will Tear Us Apart by Joy Division. That's a great song. But the issue was going to be licensing. It was going to probably cost like thousands and thousands of dollars just to get those songs used in a video. So the way around that was just ask your friends, and I'm glad that I did, because it worked. It worked. All my close friends got to be involved. I got to do this thing, and I asked Lefty, even, because Lefty, I talk to him every day. I even asked him to just do drawings of like all the people on the soundtrack, so they could even just be there in like in any form on the credits. So yeah, that was the whole video, and the video turned out really well. Yeah, I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, you should be. And it's crazy because it's also very convenient that you have just like a huge cast of like very dope and talented friends too that you can just reach out to like that.
Yeah, and even all of that was just through like Amir and stuff. Like I knew him. Amir started working with people, and then I think he started like talking about me. And another thing was the Samson's Need stuff. I don't know if you want to get to that at some point, but I started to get closer with a lot of them through the Samson's Needs videos, because I guess secrets out, I am Samson's Needs. Or it was me and Amir, but I was making the videos. He was like, but he was telling everyone about it. He was like, oh, look at this page, look at this channel. Like they're making. It was like a secret thing of like, oh, they're making our songs. They're making videos of our songs and stuff. Like he wanted Sun Tzu, but he wanted it for his friends. And so he just hit me up to do it. And I was like, yeah, I'm 100% down. And that editing that I was doing for the songs, where I was just like taking clips from like animation and stuff that I found on the internet, and that I transferred, or those skills basically just like chopping back and forth all the clips and the songs and lining everything up. It helped me edit the video for the skate video. So I was like, oh, it worked out. But that's how I ended up knowing a lot of them.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even know what Samson's Need. I'm kind of a shitty friend for it, but I didn't even know that's what you were doing. So yeah, do you want to talk about that? Go into how that started, what the process is like for like making those videos and stuff.
Yeah. So back in February, Amir hit me up and said, "How good are you at video editing?" I'm like, "I'm sure I can figure it out."
Yeah.
You know, that type of thing. I'd never done it before, but I was like, "I'm sure I can figure it out." And he was like, okay, so I want to make this channel, and I just want you to make some videos, like matching the music to like animation or like old clips and stuff, and trying to figure I want to make cool videos. So he set up the Samson's Need channel, and then just gave me access to it, and was like, okay, here's like a song I want you to do it for. So the first song was Solar Flare, which was the Metro and him. I think their first collab. And what I did was I used footage from gameplay that I found of like PS2 SSX gameplay. And because like the snowboarding thing was like so cool. And so like me and him were like on Discord for like 2 hours trying to figure out what song or like what clips and what to use and all that. So it ended up working really well. That was the first song ever. And then from that point on, like it was just I was just like making videos to the point where Amir would like tell someone about me, and then like they'd hit me up and be like, yo, can you do this? So like through that I met Metro, I met Bart, I met Tony, I met Cloudwalker, that was a big one. I met Keysum through there because I did the one for everything. I did the video. It was like Kobe and Shaq highlights put together. I did Hesh, and that's probably my favorite video ever that I've made. Or at least one of them was the Nephew Hesh medley that's up there. That was amazing for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's insane. I didn't know you were doing that. That's so fire. You got to send me a link or something. That's so gas.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, for sure. So, what was I going to say? Shit. So the editing stuff. So like that's how you started editing? Were you editing anything before that? Or no, that's what you said you were just going to figure it out.
That was it. I had never done it before, but you're asking like, do you have any editing stuff like on your computer? I'm like, I don't know. I could check. It's like, you don't have iMovie? I was like, I probably do. I've never used it though.
Yeah.
And then from that point on, I was just getting better. I was working at it, and it worked. It was how I managed to make like connections with all these different artists that I ended up using for the soundtrack, and they're very good friends of mine now.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's what I wanted to ask about, how it's kind of crazy that Twitter has become this medium for people like you and No Clue and Solos and all those to kind of combine to each other and make, branch off into little collectives and collab and stuff like that. When did you start, I guess, using Twitter as a platform for that, if that makes sense? Or, was that just something that came natural, as you were on there?
It came very naturally. What happened was, this is way back, 2018, Amir had seen one of the shirts that I had made, just the spray painted ones, and said, I've been thinking about these shirts all day, I need one. So I made him one, and then that was just kind of my thing. So now he knew that I was working on something just by myself. And then he started to become a rapper. I watched it happen because I was his friend. I would say we met 8 months before he even started thinking about music. And then as he started doing that, so him and Riley paired up. Because they met through that group chat as well, because just like me and Amir were friends because we were the only ones that really fucked with death grips. Him and Riley connected because they were the only ones in there that were super into Mutant Academy and Slums and all those guys. So and that's really what inspired Amir to start, was really one thing that I think he will always say is Mutant Academy and Slums is the two. And obviously he has Ghostface and all the classics, but of recent, that was what really lit a fire under his ass to start rapping. And so because as he was getting better and starting to rap and stuff, I was always there with him. So and he was always asking me oh, when are we getting this, when are we getting that? And then when I showed him I remember on that Discord, it was me, Amir, Riley was on there, and Christian something. He's one of our really good friends. He was one of Amir's first friends that he met through the internet. And I met Christian through Amir. I fucking love Christian. That's my guy. But we were all on Discord, and I had sent my original designs. It was the 2 T's and the hoodie. And Amir's yo, this is gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
This is gonna be people are gonna fucking go nuts for this. And he was right. A year and a bit in advance, he was right. People fucking loved the hoodie. So yeah, I was. So it was really a quick transition. One thing that was worrying me was my interactions were really low, because really second half of 2019, I had really taken a break from Twitter to the point where my followers completely stalled to one spot and never moved. And earlier on this summer, I was just okay, I'm gonna make an effort to get my interactions up. I'm gonna start putting myself out there more again, because for a while it was super easy, and then it just stopped. So that was the effort I had made, but still nobody knew. My transition really, I would say, to being a part of it, because even the Samson Dean stuff was still pretty secret. But to being a part of it was when I had posted the first video that was promo, and I was showing everyone hey guys, this is what I'm doing. This is who I am now. You guys can subscribe to this, and you can see if you guys fuck with it and all that. And that was really it. So it was really, but to me, it wasn't a sudden thing. It might have been to people looking from the outside looking in, but to me, it wasn't, because he was super. Because Amir was always there, and he always saw what I was doing, and I was always super. I was always letting him know my plans and stuff, and. A couple people here and there were catching wind of it. So that's why, throughout the summer, I had given Tony one, I had given Randy one, I had given Hesh, Lefty, I had given these people, a hoodie, and, they got super, subscribed to it, and they really fuck with it. So that's kind of what helped ease the transition.
Right. That's sick, because you want, and just to talk about the hoodie a little more, because that seems to be the big, you know what I mean? Like you're saying, that's the big piece that everyone's I need that. What was
Yeah.
the choice to make it, or was there even a process or other colorways for it, or what made you go with like the foresty green, or was it always?
Yeah, no, that was very specific.
Yeah.
And I think for everything I make, there's going to be just a little sidetrack. I think everything that I make, there's going to be. I don't think I'm going to do like color options. I think there's going to be a very particular color for it.
Okay.
Because I don't think it would look as good with other things. But the reason I picked green was because as simple as I don't have any green hoodies, and I would like one.
Okay.
I personally, and that's something that I found out is like a lot of people don't have just a green hoodie, and that started St. Patrick's Day, like 2 years, 2019. I was like, why don't I have anything green in my closet? And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna make a green hoodie one day, and I did. But everything I do for like hoodies and tees and stuff, like the colors are gonna be like selected on purpose. Everything is gonna be on purpose, unless stated otherwise. Everything is on purpose.
Right.
Yeah, so I think just even like looking at the Vista tee, which is the black tee, like if it was that same design on a white tee, it wouldn't feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
If it was the rosary one on a black tee, it still wouldn't feel the same. Like I picked it for like a very particular reason.
Okay, that's really interesting. And would you say like that you had, I guess, a color palette picked out for the brand early on, like how the logo was going to be, you know, a certain like it was black, but I think it's also in white and stuff like that. Was that an idea you had early on?
Yeah, so the black and white, it was just really easy, but I think the hits of red was when I started to kind of dial in on like a color thing for it, and that's what I just started using. So for the brand and stuff, the colors black, white, and red, or like a gray is also involved. It's just like on the simple like showing logo, black, white, and red is really it. But like when I start incorporating it into like tees and stuff, because I wanted the tees to look like paintings. That was my whole thing. Like I really liked when I had like a painting on my chest or like art on my chest, because like even when Supreme does shit that like I don't really keep up with them anymore, but I keep my eye on it, and whenever they do collabs with artists, that's the shit that I fucking love. So recently they did. I mean, Yoji's a designer, but Yoji Yamamoto. But I bought the drawing tee. So it was like literally a Yoji sketch just on the front. Or like they did something with Rita Ackerman a couple of years back, and so that I bought that jacket because I thought that jacket was amazing. And like it's just my favorite thing ever is when streetwear has like just art on it. And it's really funny because when I was talking to Amir about it, he said that when he was younger he had like this idea of like starting a brand. And it was going to be called Anti-Art, and he just wanted to put art on t-shirts, and it was the same thing. So like we kind of connected like that. Like he kind of just tapped in right away to what I was doing. It was like, I fucking love that. And that's kind of what helped turn what I've started doing as like a thing that people can be interested in.
That's awesome. And just going back to what because you say so many interesting things and my mind kind of scrambles, so I'm going back like a couple, like half an hour ago to when you were talking about art and different medias influencing your style and the brand and everything like that. And I remember, I think it was back when we used to like just Skype every day, you showed me like the end of like Red Dead Redemption, and you were just like playing. It was like your 5th playthrough of like Red Dead Redemption or something crazy like that. And you were talking about Samson's needs and how you were using, you know, video game clips and stuff like that. Would you say video games is another medium that really influences you?
Honestly, probably. I never thought of it, but honestly, yeah, probably. There's not many video games that like go super deep into religion, but I could see how, honestly, looking at like my thing of games right now in front of me, like I could see how like Assassin's Creed definitely could have like crept its way, like even just aesthetically could have crept its way into what I do. That's my favorite series ever. They've kind of gone to shit now, but like at their prime, they were my favorite ever. But yeah, I can see that actually. Thanks for pointing that out. I'm gonna start using that.
And then going back to I'm so scrambled brained. I had way too much fucking coffee. I'm gonna go to my talk point for a minute. So I'm gonna kind of suck you off for a little bit on this question, but you're pretty fucking hardworking. You're smart. You're one of the smartest people I know. Just like in terms of like you know everything about like all these different art forms and stuff like that. But not to sound like just as kind of a generic question, but like where do you think that drive came from to keep learning and learning about all these different avenues, and then how do you think they, I guess we kind of talked about this a little bit already, but how do you think they all intertwine for you at all? Like, is there certain themes and different art avenues that you're a big fan of, like religion, or is there different ones, or?
I think, honestly, anything, even just in anything provocative, anything that's like attention grabbing, I'll gravitate to. Anything that's outside of the norm, I'll usually gravitate to. So like, obviously, like Death Grips, that whole underground, like that whole like industrial type of scene. I'm a huge J-Pop Mafia fan. And even just noise rock, like I'm a huge fan of Idols. I'm a huge fan of Sonic Youth. Like shit like that. So, anything that's just like interesting and provocative, I'll gravitate to. That's why when Mark was asking me like, who is the brand for? And like, it's a little niche, don't you think? All the designs are religious. I was like, people are gravitated. At least I am gravitated to provocative imagery. As long as it looks interesting enough, people will buy it. So, but yeah, that was a big thing. But just I gravitate to stuff that's like just attention grabbing. Maybe a little bit like in self-indulging and like, look at me, like I love the last Gambino album. Oh, yeah. Like it's a very weird album, but like I love that album. But hold on, what was I going to say? I was going to say something. What was the start of the question again? It was
so the start of the question, I was just kind of sucking you off a little bit, and then I was saying like,
I got it. But the research and like why I got into like looking into stuff and like getting super comfortable with all these things was I absorb information like a sponge, especially when it comes to like shit that I personally want to learn. I think everyone's kind of like that, but I think that I'm more, maybe do it more than average. At least maybe it's just like because of how much I practice it, but because ever since I was young, like I'd be watching like informational videos, like Vsauce is one of my favorite channels, like Veritasium, Smart Everyday, stuff like that. Stuff that's really meant for kids. It's supposed to be like, cool science shit for kids. Yeah. Like you can learn a lot from it.
Right.
I've been like watching those. Then when I got into sneakers and fashion, like all I would do is watch content. Even like before that, I used to really like cars, and like I would watch like a bunch of videos trying to figure out how like engines worked and like what's better for what car and aerodynamics and shit like that. Like 13, 14 years old, just looking at all this stuff, like, damn, this shit is really cool. Like the way the world actually works is so much more than it looks on the surface.
Yeah, I feel that. That's really interesting.
I would say that's why I when I get into something, like I get super into it.
Right. No, I feel you. I'm kind of the same way. And you mentioned Idols, and that new Idols album is insane. It's so sick.
Yeah.
I fuck with it so much.
I really fuck with it.
Yeah, it's sick.
Very cool.
Going back, because you were talking about how like Off-White was a big influence on you, and you used to watch Supreme and stuff like that, but they're not really your thing anymore. Is it any exciting clothing, like people making clothes now?
Supreme still is.
Oh, okay.
I still kind of fuck with Supreme. Off-White, I kind of went off of around 2018. When I started getting more into seasonal and like really luxury fashion and stuff like that. Like when I started looking at it, Off-White kind of tapered off for me when I was like 2017, and I was like, oh, I fucking love this because other people love it. It was like, it's sick, and like that's why I really liked it. I really got into it. But as like I tapered, I went off, and like I started exploring by myself. I was like, I don't know if I really like. I like what they did, which was they literally just like slapped it on everywhere. They were basically doing like this streetwear, the mix between streetwear and high fashion they were doing, and I respect that. But I don't personally like it really anymore. My favorite brand ever is Undercover. That is Jun Takahashi is like my favorite designer ever. Like he's incredible. The way when it comes to like remixing and like blatant referencing, like I kind of do with my stuff, even though mine is just like graphic designs on t-shirts and stuff. Yeah. But when it comes to that, like he is brilliant at it. The last couple of seasons that he did, one of them was a Akira Kurosawa movie, Throne of Blood. So a lot of the pieces, like there's a bomber and they'll have like a character from the movie on it. He did one that was A Clockwork Orange. He did, and I think the most famous one was 2001: A Space Odyssey. I think that was fall winter 2018. And there's like a trench coat, like a long trench coat, and the picture on it is literally like the entire thing is that classic scene in 2001 where he's in that tube and it's like he has his arm up or whatever, like, and one of the puffer jackets, like the winter coats, like they had like a hood and a face mask and it looks like one of the spacesuits. Like, yeah, when it comes to blatant referencing and stuff, like he is, and like just mixing it into a way that's like original and it looks amazing. Like he really is the person to look at. But I as much as I like luxury fashion, I still keep up with streetwear. I love streetwear. Mm-hmm. That's what my whole thing is. So like FA is like one of my favorite brands. I would think if anything streetwear influenced me, it is Jason Dillon and fucking awesome. I think that's like what I strive to be. Like he's one of the most interesting people in the world to me. So I watch shit like with him all the time. Cab M, I really like. This is a brand from Japan. It's a what's his name? I forgot the guy's name who started it. I think it was Noah something, but
okay.
Skate Thing is the designer, so it's a duo, and he's the graphic designer that makes all the graphics for it, and it's a very like, I guess dystopian, even just for a streetwear thing. Like, as far as streetwear goes, they are as experimental as it gets with the weird cuts, weird pocket alignment. They really are like a good mix between skate and tech wear. And the graphic designs on it are like incredible. So that's a really great brand. So I really fuck with that. I still keep up with Supreme, but Supreme I've come to think as like, you know, ever since the beginning they've been like, we're gonna slap our name on everything and just throw it out there. Yeah. And you know, every season I'll look at the lookbook and I'll look at the collection. I'll be like, okay, there's like 250 things here. There's like 5 or 6 that I really like though.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's different for everybody, but like I'll still keep an eye on them, but I don't like focus it on them as much anymore, but I'm still a fan.
Okay. Because you keep bringing up like streetwear and skate brands and stuff like that, but you consider what you're doing, I don't know if there's a difference between streetwear and skate brand. You can probably, you know, explain this a little bit better, but what would you like consider your thing, and how big is skateboarding going to be in the future for your brand?
So Leaders of a Deity is always going to be a skate-centered brand. Okay. And streetwear is like a mix. One of the main influences or one of the main factions of streetwear is skatewear. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of like little subcultures in streetwear, like, you know, hip-hop and, you know, rave and all this different stuff. But one of the main influences is or one of the main like driving forces in streetwear is skate, because it's such a simple thing. Simple, like pair of Dickies, t-shirt, you know, Vans or Converse or something. It's like the most simple fit you could make. So it's so accessible that it becomes like, it's just something that it's like synonymous with streetwear. But skateboarding is probably going to be the main focus of this brand for a long time, because it's what I loved from the beginning, and it kind of helps me create like this really weird message, but also package it in a way that's super accessible. Mm-hmm.
Another big thing that I see you tweet about a lot is sports. Do you think they have any type of role in what you do at all, or is that just more of kind of like a pastime for you?
No, probably not. Sports is definitely a pastime. I have a very weird allegiance to like my sports teams because of how often I moved around. Like when I was younger, Randy Moss was my favorite player ever. Mm-hmm. So I became like a Patriots fan. But I also lived in San Diego. So I was a Lakers fan.
Right.
So that whole thing was mixed. And then I'm a Blue Jays fan because I'm the first person. I'm from Toronto. Mm-hmm. I like the Padres, but like when I got super into baseball and was getting like really good at it, like I just became a Blue Jays fan. And then my entire family's from Montreal, so I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan. So like my allegiance is very mixed, but like I swear there's a reason for it. But no, that's not something that not something that was like I really just take into account. I think sports is just more like a pastime, something that I really liked as a kid. So it's probably gonna stick with me for my whole life.
I feel you. You think the Lakers take it home this year, though? You think they're beating the Heat?
I hope so, but I wouldn't mind. I really hope so, because we've been through a lot, but definitely not as bad as some franchises have gone through. Mm-hmm. But I really hope so. I wouldn't mind if the Heat won. I really like Jimmy Butler. I really like Eric Spoelstra.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bam. And this is one of those like championship or like playoff runs that is like you wouldn't expect.
Right.
So like I feel like the Lakers, if anything, they could maybe come back next year. Maybe not as strong, but they could come back next year. Mm-hmm. But even then, the West is still super tough because the Warriors come back. Mm-hmm. But if the I really don't mind if the Heat win, but I would really like the Lakers to win. It'd make me and 10-year-old Ari very happy.
Right? Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, no, I like Butler too. I always like
Butler. Yeah, he really is a great player. He's kind of been unfairly chastised by the league, but he's a great player.
Yeah, no, I fuck with him, and I think he was a big reason Sixers got that fucking Brett Brown out of there after this fucking season. Because after we chose Brown over fucking Butler, yeah, it was, oh my god, don't get me started. I fucking hate that team, bro. But kind of leading up to this interview, because I was never into like clothes or like what people wore or anything like that, but I wanted to kind of understand it a little bit better. And I was watching this video, I think it was Shia LaBeouf talking about how like when he dresses, he looks for more of shape than like colors matching and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's something you want to do in the future, or if that's something you do now when you're picking out your own outfits, or how did shape influence this line?
Yeah, no, shape is very hard to do when you're working with blanks. Mm-hmm. However, I've always known that a fashion is the fit. It's the shape. It doesn't really have. It's the cut. That's the most important thing. So like even just outside of streetwear, like obviously when I dress, like I try to keep a shape like with the pants I wear and the t-shirt, and like keep a certain silhouette. Mm-hmm. But harder to do when you're making like just designing streetwear off blanks and stuff. But it's something I do try to keep in mind, especially with my tees and stuff. Like I want them to be good quality. So they're not gilded, but, cause like I don't want it to, you stick it in the wash and like when it comes out, it feels like sandpaper and it sucks. Mm-hmm. But shape is very important. I've always kind of kept that in the back of my head. Even just like how, when I dress and stuff, like I always try to keep the shape just, how I want it. Mm-hmm. And even, just watching like all the fashion stuff, like apparently Margiela, the only stuff that he's the two things that he focuses on is the shoulder and the footwear, the heel, mm-hmm. because those are like the 2 points that you can convey the most from. There's just like all this collection has like weird ass shoulders sometimes and stuff like that, but very interesting stuff. But yeah, shape is very important.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you would ever get into doing like big, I don't know, like bubble puffer jackets and stuff like that, or do you think it's mostly? Yeah. Do you want to work with blanks mostly?
Well, I would want to do cut and sew pieces. So eventually what I hope is like the tees and like the hoodies will be off blanks, but cut and sews, like I could make jackets and pants and stuff. That'll come soon. Like I already have a friend that's like working on sewing and stuff. So I'm gonna see if I can work with him, try to get as much, done as I can. I'm hoping the next season I can make pants. Those will probably be blanks as well. Mm-hmm. But for now, the puffer, and I already have a puffer design and everything. I have some jackets designed that I want to work on, but that's like later down the line.
Mm-hmm. Not to ask you to reveal too much, but how far along are you for the second line?
In terms of design, all the designs are made.
Oh, okay.
All the designs are thought out. I just have to make them in Photoshop, but I have them sketched out. And for the hoodie, especially, the hoodie is probably the one that's the farthest along. I'll probably get that made soon. But there's like a little thing in between, because the next drop is going to be in March. But there's going to be a little thing in between for just everyone that would like something. Mm-hmm. For now. It's coming. I'm going to try to get it around November. Done. It's going to be a small thing for the winter, but I think it's going to be really cool because it's like stuff that one of them is something that like everyone can make, but like the other one is something that like not a lot of people can make, or like something that's like a little less accessible to make. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping people really like that one. So we'll see what it is pretty soon. But without revealing too much, I have the next probably year planned out.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
Which is something you should be doing
Right.
because it works so fast. Like it's 6-month cycles, and you're on to the next.
Yeah. Would you ever look into doing like a big runway show? Is that something that you would like to do at some point?
I don't think so, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe if I have like another side project, like I have an idea for a side project, but that one isn't going to be like a high fashion one anyways, but it can kind of turn into, like if you know what who Yang Lee is, and if you know what Samizdat is, then you can kind of get an idea of, and that's just for anyone listening, like if you can kind of get an idea of what I want to do, but that could eventually turn into something that is like a something that you can see on a runway, but for now, and even for leaders of a Deity, I don't think that'll ever be a runway thing. Because I'm not trying to mix high fashion and streetwear. Like, I'm pretty skate-centric right now.
Yeah.
And especially skaters, like, they're very purist, and they don't really like when brands that they like kind of venture off into other things. Mm-hmm. So, I'm just going to stick with this, because for now, this is something that I really want to do. So I'm just going to keep this as pure as possible. It's very much going to be tailored just for skateboarders.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Or anyone could buy it, because obviously it's streetwear, t-shirts, hoodies, but skateboarders are going to be like where I go with this brand. Skateboarders are going to be like one of my driving forces in making decisions.
Would you ever want a skate team for it? You know what I mean?
We have one. So everyone in the video is now officially part of the team. We're going to be making another one probably next summer. And by then, hopefully, I have decks made. But everyone that was in the video involved is part of the official skate team or official skate team. Yeah. And then we have a couple. I think one new person that has just. I don't know if I want to reveal him yet. He's I know him through Randy, but we have one new person that is going to be. Kind of like a little bit of like a model type of thing. Like I'm going to send him some stuff, just like, take pictures of, send them back. We can use them on the page and just like make content. And that's also important too. It can't just be skaters. It has to be a mix of stuff. But yeah, he's really cool. I talked to him. He hit me up after the video, I think, or somewhere around there, and was like, do you need any models? And I asked Randy about him. I'm like, do you know him? He's like, yeah. I'm like, he's my brother. So I was like, yeah. All right. You're part of the team. Like, but yeah, that's like, I have like a team now. So you're going to be seeing them on the socials like a lot more.
That's awesome. That's really exciting. Do you want to talk about, like building the website that, everything was sold through, or what that process was like for you?
Yeah, building the website was a very, it was long. I had it planned out in May, but luckily my aunt and uncle are both are in web design. They have their own thing. Like they're like not freelance, but it's really just them. But it's a company, and they just do web design for people. So I just asked, like, you guys make me a website, please? And it was a time crunch because near the end of it, like we were just getting everything sorted together and working out all the kinks, but. I think I'm very proud of how it looked. There's some stuff that I'm going to change for the next time around. Maybe not for the capsule, but definitely for the next season. But for now, I'm very proud of how the website looks.
That's awesome. And a capsule is just like kind of a smaller drop, like a smaller collection?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it won't be any tees, probably not a hoodie, but we'll see. But probably not. But it'll be a couple other things that are like one clothing accessory, one actual accessory, and it'll. It's just gonna be really small. Okay.
And then you talk about making decks and doing like skate, I guess, board build. I don't know what the fucking word for it is, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What do you think when you I guess not when, but like what's that process like for when do you want to do like trucks and wheels and do the whole nine, or is it just gonna be decks or?
Ooh. For now, it's just going to be decks, but eventually, I think trucks and wheels would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's probably something I'll look into more, but for now, it's really just going to be a deck because, like, still very new, still starting out, working everything out. But I think eventually, yeah, trucks and wheels and bearings and all that stuff. That's probably what I'm gonna get into. But for now, it's just decks.
Right. I think that's all the questions I have, man. It's been like exactly an hour and a half. Unless there's anything else
Beautiful.
you wanna hit on.
No, no. This is a very fun. I'm glad that we've been able to talk, reconnect. We've known each other for a long ass time, so
Yeah,
this is
bro.
I'm glad we were able to. I just wanted to give a couple shout outs.
Of course.
Amir, obviously, probably wouldn't be doing this without him. Riley, him as well. Like they're like the first two people to know about this. Randy, that's my brother. Go cop that Starlo Skaters Club if you can. And Caleb too. He's got something cooking up, so watch out for that. No Clue guys, so all of them. And then I also want to give a shout out to Khalil, who's probably one of me and Amir's closer friends. He's like not super. He's very good at keeping himself anonymous, but he's a incredibly talented screenwriter, and he has stuff coming up that's gonna blow everyone's mind out when it finally comes out. Mark, obviously, shout out to him, because I wouldn't have been able to make this skate video and anything really without him. Shout out to the skate team. So that's Neon, Late Night Neons, Tristan, Lazary, Finn, and Beamski. Shout out to everybody that was on the soundtrack. I think I mentioned them earlier, but shout out to them. Thank you so much for letting me use your music, because you really saved my ass. Shout out Lefty, that's my guy. He's really been into the brand ever since I mentioned it to him, and he's he's really been big in helping push it. So shout out to him, and also shout out to No Exit in Paradise. That is another artist that I'm working with. He's a really cool guy. I know him through Mark. I know a lot of people through Mark because he's very important. But yeah, shout out to him. There's going to be some stuff with him pretty soon. He's a very talented guy. So shout out to No Exit. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for having me, man. This has been very fun.
No, yeah, I'm glad. It's like you're saying, it's been a while. I'm glad I could. I don't know if this is helping in any way, but I'm glad I can be a part of what you're doing in some way, some form. It's I love what you're doing. It's very exciting.
Thank you so much.
No, of course, bro. Of course, anytime, bro. I got you.
Bro, this was good. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Of course. Yeah, bro. Much love. I love you. You know that.
Yeah, love you too, man.
Yeah, man.